Hey there, welcome to CandTCollectiblesYT. Hope you're doing well. I thought we'd take a look at some of the price action of some of the players we've been talking about recently in the Hall of Fame tracker. Just a couple of steps to, for me at least, to collecting is one, identify the targets, and then two, identify the price. And for most players, they're relatively cheap entertainment. But once you get up into some Bowman first autographs, things of that nature, if you can manage your risk and save a couple $100 here and there, then it's probably worth the time. So I've gone over what we've talked about so far, the pitchers and the infielders, and we'll just kind of see what we see. And we'll start it off with Clayton Kershaw, longer term out trend. So I'm using Card Ladder. Card Ladder has some really nice charts. They have the log scale, the nice dark background, a lot of good price information. What they don't have are actual players, which is kind of a problem. So I don't know if I'll be with these guys long term or anything like that. I like the interface, but as far as the players, we're missing a number of them. So I'm doing my best here. This is what we got. So anyways, we'll start off with Clayton Kershaw, longer term uptrend in place here. Very thin volume. He's testing the bottom of his range, so the risk reward sets up pretty favorably. Should leak out of this, then again, it's going to be on a low volume play, and maybe you see it for your $2,000 or something like that. Kind of these previous reference points. You've had sneak outs, a little sneak below in the past, and that leads to some whipsaws from time to time here. So, anyways, I guess it sits up pretty well. Currently, it's a $2,700 card. Could have another draw down to maybe 2,000, something like that, but I think buyers may start to step in as that's previous support. So again, see how it works. It's such low volume stuff. There's no guarantees here. This is the best we can do. So Justin Verlander, a little less pricey of a card here. So there's more volume you can see, especially since 2018 when everything kind of went nuts. So the tops are pretty well defined here, and you can see that it's just ground lower to this previous support point here. So along with Kershaw, you're testing support in the pitchers, maybe an interesting group here for the most part here. Max Scherzer, same thing. You've had your persistent downtrend, and it's coming into an area of support. Maybe worth a buy. A couple $100 for that card here. So you're talking about not much, 10, 20 bucks, 40 bucks or something like that overall for the future Hall of Famer. So, but this is, again, I'm not sure what he has in terms of Bowman autographs or anything like that. This is the card that Card Ladder had, so we went with it. But the pitchers, for the most part, and there wasn't a Greinke to look at, they look like they're setting up pretty well. They've pulled back far enough, and it may be close to start looking at them. So for catchers, we had Adley Rutschman. I wanted to throw in a Francisco Alvarez, not available here. So Adley, we've looked at him in the past when I used to do this back in the day here. $300 was kind of your marker, and that's still holding true here. So you get to that $300 level. Buying has been pretty consistent. A little too much too fast on that breakout and drop quickly down. So right now we're sitting at let's see, currently a little over $400 or something like that. And so this is the 9/5/10 base autograph. So if that's a card that you're looking for, again, patience may be rewarded in that $300 range. Paul Goldschmidt, just his base, didn't have his Bowman or anything like that. PSA 10 is an update. So nice breakout of the longer term trend, but we've seen these before on low volume. So you want that to hang out. You want to see buyers step in and say, $125 is the price. Until you see that, then consider this kind of a fake out and maybe back into the declining range here. So if it starts to get below $80 right around that area there, then that's probably a pretty solid price there. So maybe just a wait and see on that one. Miggy Cabrera, this is his Topps Traded Chrome Edition, longer term here. Tops again well defined, bottoms well defined, and you're closer to the bottom of the range there. There was a sale that dropped down to its previous level of resistance, which is now support, and so that's a heck of a deal there. $600 or something like that. So you're sitting at closer to $900. If you're super patient, maybe this thing makes it back down to that $650 level, which might be a more interesting entry point on that particular card, especially since he's going to be out of sight, out of mind for the next couple of years until the talks of first ballot Hall of Famer stuff come back up here. Freddie Freeman, Bowman first, 9/5/10 autograph, just the base autograph there. The trend is again, it's up, so a little hype there around the MVP season in 2020. kind of that blow off top that everything had here. And now you're coming back into an area of pretty decent support. So it's a $400 card. I think you can be patient and maybe pick it up for $350 or something like that, where these previous sales were. So some sort of intersection this winter or next spring where it tags this upward trend line and its previous level of support there. So again, patience, but start scoping out slightly lower, maybe in that 350 range or something like that for that nice Bowman First autograph. Pete Alonso. We were missing. We got Pete Alonso. We don't have Joey Votto, so makes sense there. So, anyways, Joey Votto, well, like probably getting in. Pete Alonso, he needs to start cracking out. He needs to continue to crack out home runs to get to that 500. Probably his best path. So, Bowman First autograph. So again, it's kind of crazy here. You look at it, $350 card, and it's like, you can get a Freddie Freeman for that. But yeah, it continues to grind lower here, and if it went a little bit further south to closer to 300, sure wouldn't surprise me there, but that trend does remain a little bit down here. Manny Machado, so yeah, we're skipping over a lot of the second basemen. I wanted to look at Altuve and Albies, and there was no Altuve, and Ozzie Albies was just his base, and if you wanted, it's $30, and don't worry about the price too much, so better cards to get, I think, on that one, but yeah, so the Manny Machado Bowman First 9/5/10 autograph, so longer term trend up and violated. So now you're in a consolidation phase for the most part, and so this is a $260 card or something like that. And so if it got a little bit lower there, that's probably one of the better values on the board here. If it got around that $200 or something, $250. I was looking for the refractors, and these would always come up as well, and so that's kind of the price, that $250 number here. So it's not a bad level for a guy that honestly your best path from the third baseman. So I think his risk reward sets up a little bit better than most. And if you're patient, maybe if he starts off slow again next year, then you could get a pretty good a deal on that one there. So wanted to throw in some more third basemen. So we've just got the base Altuve. He doesn't have a Bowman First autograph, so you're just kind of stuck with that base. And you can get into the Topps autographs, and you can get fancy with these, but this is what we had here, and it gives you a sense of the general price. So if a card's really ripping, then people will trade down to the lower value cards, and those will start to go. So you can kind of see what other things are doing based off of this. So anyways, consolidation, getting towards the top of the range. Jose Ramirez, it's only $70-$80, so probably a fair price for a guy that's on a terrific path. But again, if we look for some of his higher end cards, some of his chrome refractors, chrome autographs, things of that nature, you can get a sense that they're probably also consolidating, haven't really done a whole lot either, and maybe worth picking up there. So wanted to add in Arenado. They just had the base. I would like to see the Bowman. Bregman, again, just the base, and Gunnar Henderson, not even existent. Devers doesn't have that Bowman First autograph, and so didn't have a lot there. So oh, never mind. I take it back. I didn't cross that one off. Good job, Card Ladder. You got one here. Here's your Nolan Arenado Bowman First. There was a couple other ones. Yeah, Bregman just had his base, and there wasn't the Gunnar Henderson, but I think we've got the Arenado and an Austin Riley here for third baseman. So anyways, consolidation. So you have your defined tops, your bottoms, kind of a fake break here, which brings you to the bottom of the range usually. So if you break low, then you could see a quick snapback. And usually in the real markets, it's because of short covering, people get faked out. You don't really have that in the card markets, but it seems to work here as well. So for whatever reason, getting close to the bottom of its range, and so kind of a no doubt Hall of Famer. And again, looking at $450, maybe a touch lower here, but again, that one sets up fairly well, which is kind of interesting when you look at some of these other players here. Bowman, Devers, I think you said they didn't have it, but not what I meant to say was I don't think he has a Bowman First autograph. This is a second-year autograph, so apologize for any confusion on that one here. An absolute monster rip, so bottom of the range. But just a monster move there on very little volume, so don't do anything with that at the time being here. So what is that, 550? I can't even read my own writing here, so or their writing, very small. I think that's a 550 card, and a couple $100 less is probably the place you want to be on that one. So again, that's a very quick move on very little volume, and yeah, the Austin Riley. So we didn't have much in the way of Bregman, who I'd like to highlight a little bit here, and a Gunnar Henderson, which I'd like to take a look at. Not a lot of cards to look at on those of much interest here. So on 9/5/10 for Riley. You have your downward wedge consolidation, so prices compressed. They're going to squeeze one way or another. In this case, they are breaking out. So that's a good sign. What you want to do is see it hold that breakout. if we're going to get some more elevated prices on that one here. But that's how it starts here. So it's a general uptrend for the most part. Recently, it's been in a pretty persistent downtrend, but now it's breaking out. And you're talking about $210 or whatever. So for a guy that's on somewhat of a path, he came up a little bit late, but he's been producing. Seems like a decent number there, and people may be piling on, saying that price is a little bit too low here. So, all right, move over to the shortstops. We do have a Lindor, but no Correa. That's all right. We'll do what we can here. So, Francisco Lindor continues to trend lower. So we had our previous reference point, and that's why I like card ladder in their longer term charts, because the markets do have memory. So 2014, 2015, 2016, you had this consolidation before the monster breakout. And it's returning to that level here and finding some support, which is nice. So a lot of volume on these, but the trend is down. So this expanding wedge is bullish at some point. While you're in it, it's bearish. But when you break out, that's ultimately that is a bullish thing. But yeah, if you can get into that, currently it's a $179 card, and if you can get this, there's a spike down to 80, $100, $80 or something like that. For a guy that has the best path of any shortstop, it seems like a pretty decent deal. So you might want to start looking at that one a little bit closer if that's what you're interested in. And again, market around $100 or whatever, give yourself some room, but that could be pretty interesting. Wander Franco was a player that we just don't know. You have to see what the Dominican courts say about everything. So for the meantime, I'm honestly kind of treating it as a buying opportunity. This was a card that I wanted, but I wasn't going to pay $2,000-$3,000 for it. I think there's like Lindor or something like that. It's like, well, that's a really nice path. Why wouldn't I put my money there instead? But now, absolute collapse. People are kind of like they're just done for the most part. And so, $200 for that Bowman first autograph. And if you want to get fancier, you can a couple $100, you can get even more, something numbered or whatever. But about as good as you're gonna get, unless he's suspended and just done with baseball. Then it's a zero for the most part. But if you think that there's a chance that he comes back, this blows over, this gives you the best opportunity that you've seen in a while. So when people talk about deep value, things of that nature, this is deep value. Deep value is not something cheap because it's cheap. It's something that there's structurally something wrong, and that's definitely the case here for Mr. Franco. I want to look at Xander Bogaerts, not a thing, but let's see, let's see, Turner, not a thing, I don't think. But we do have Bobby Witt. So great season by Bobby Witt, no question about it. So gem in 10. So there's more 10s graded in the Witt than there were more PSA graded than the BGS. I just go with the one with the most potential volume here. So that's kind of where we're starting to see the flip, where people are just starting to take those Bowmans and throwing them into the PSA holders here. So you've got your resistance, thin volume. It's coming up on there, so it's probably worth a wait. Honestly, $1,000 card, I can find plenty of those other players on a far better path. And so my plan is on this one is I'm not doing anything with it. So especially not here. If I was going to buy, I'd really want it in that $600-$700 range. And even then, I'm not buying that if I can get the Freemans and the Arenados and the Goldschmidts and the Lindors and the Machados for the same price. So what I'll do is wait. I'm going to wait 3-4 years probably. That's what it could ultimately be if he continues on this path. But the new set of shortstops, shiny new players start to come up. His relevance will start to drop down, and then he'll kind of drop into that range with those other guys, and that's where I think I'd be more comfortable. So for now, it's like, yeah, I mean, you wait for a little pullback if that's what you're looking for. But I'm waiting for a really big pullback someday, as something happens where someone else comes along and kind of takes his shine off, and that's how I play that. So kind of like Bo Bichette, he came up and he was the guy, right? $600-$700 card. Well, now you're sitting at $300 for his stuff because he's not done anything wrong. One of 6 players to hit over 300 last year. He's been great, but other players have come along to take the shine off, and his cards have, attention is drawn away from his cards, and this is how it goes here. So $320, little bounce recently off of this level of support here, but it's on thin volume, and so I would wait for even lower prices. So you see how that plays out. So. The trend remains down on that one, so until it breaks out, I mean, you're just getting these lower highs and lower lows, and so it's like, I might wait. But it did tag support pretty well, recent sales over the past couple of years, and get a bit of a bounce. So again, see how that goes. But I think I would wait so just a little bit here, but I'm looking hard at that one. Again, he's losing a little bit of relevance here for no good reason. I mean, good reason. Other players are coming up, but he's on a nice track, so I'll use that. So Corey Seager, monster rip at the end of the year, and expectedly coming off just a bit here. So player that I like to buy. But again, $200. It's like, are we paying $1,000 for Witt and $200 for Corey Seager? That makes no sense to me. So, yeah, I mean that's a decent price. You could see it a little bit lower. I don't think you see that spike down anytime soon here, unless he gets hurt next year or something like that. But right now, if it settles back into that 150, 175 area, kind of where we're at, then why not take your shot? Trey Turner. Oh, they did have Trey Turner. That's right. I kind of forgot what the heck I put in here, because I had to go through this a few times here. So, all right, good on them. Hey, look at that, bottom of the range. You're looking for a Trey Turner. That's a pretty good spot here to get that particular card here. So, whenever it's gotten to this level in the past, it's been a buy. This is a very thin volume, so I don't know if you're able to find something in that $70 range. But if you do, that seems like one of the bigger no-brainers. We'll wrap it up with my favorite PSA 8 3PO error card. So. Trending a bit lower here, getting closer to the bottom of the range, but we should see a liftoff imminently on that one. So, yeah, sorry, it's kind of screwed up what I had, what I didn't, but I stand by a card ladder. You could stand to have a few more cards, but your charts are pretty terrific there. So that's what I got for you. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.